Buenos dias, buenos dias. Thank you very much. And I just want to say I am so thrilled to be with you today and so inspired by what you are all doing here at Tecmilenio. I had a chance and privilege to hear President Hector Escamilla speak at the World Congress in Positive Psychology. And I have to say I was so inspired by the pioneering and path-breaking work that you are all doing here. There is no other university in the world that has gone this far, this quickly, with the implications of the positive psychology revolution. Today I want to share with you my most recent work, and it's given me more hope about our world than anything I've ever worked on. I woke up this morning just thinking about what is the one word that I feel today about being here and about our special time. And I have to say that word is hope. There is so much happening, and the strength of this work at the business level and industry and society. So today I'm going to take you on a tour. There's 3 or 4 starting points for the talk today. The first is that we are in this moment of a positive revolution in the whole field of psychology and human sciences. We've heard a lot about the positive psychology revolution. I think what we've done is we've underestimated the role of the positive in human system leadership. And my whole bookshelf is completely changed now after the last 10 years of research. For example, the question about what good are positive emotions in human system change and development? What good is hope? What good is inspiration? What good is joy? Well, today we have answers to those kinds of things. We have answers to the kinds of things that make for a flourishing life. The second thing I'm going to get into are some of the advances in our own work called appreciative inquiry. Appreciative inquiry is a strength-based approach to change. And as I address all of us here today, I'm going to talk to all of us as leaders of change. And by leaders of change, I don't mean just position and hierarchy. I mean the question of a leader. I think Meg Wheatley has a great definition. A leader is anybody who wants to make a difference at this time. And that's you, and that's me, that's all of us. We're being called to aim higher. And then the last point of departure, I think, is that we are witnessing one of the biggest macro trends ever in the history of business and leadership and management. And that is the trend towards a sustainable economy, a trend towards more socially impactful business. We have 9 billion people entering the middle class in the next 2 decades. And as these 9 billion or 3 billion more people entering the middle class, 9 billion by 2050, it's going to put a tremendous pressures on our ecosystems and call for dignified work and new kinds of organizations. And so we've been studying why is it that good things happen to good organizations? You know, the companies that are starting to lead the way in this whole domain. I fell asleep thinking about, what will they call our generation? In the United States, there was a book by Tom Brokaw called The Greatest Generation, and it was a wonderful title. And I thought, what will they call our generation? And I thought, they're not going to call us the greatest generation if for no other reason than that title is already taken. But how about privileged? That's what I fell asleep with. What a privileged generation we are to be part of this incredible next 30 years that we're going to have. I think we're facing what I would call once-in-a-civilization type opportunities. We can eradicate extreme poverty, and we're going to see it. We can create this clean, renewable energy transformation, and we're going to see it. We're going to be around to see it. We can create economies that don't just pollute, but actually regenerate the planet like a flower. We're going to create a world where there's education everywhere, I mean, literally every child on the planet will have access to education within the next 20 years. We're going to learn about business and the positive force that business can play. And then ultimately, we're going to learn about positive institutions. We launched then the largest appreciative inquiry research study that I've ever been part of, and it's called the Study of Business as an Agent of World Benefit. And it's a question, it's a question. It's not an answer, it's a question. What does it look like? Where is it happening? What about business as a force for peace in high conflict zones, and business as a force for eradicating poverty, business as a force for ecological invention, and so on. We've done over 3,000 interviews, and we're learning something from a positive psychology perspective, and that is how doing good and doing well brings the inside of the corporation to life in a tremendous way. So many of you know the bold and daring work that Elon Musk is doing with Tesla to create an all-electric vehicle. It's a pioneering organization. But from a positive psychology perspective, when I went to interview people, for example, in the Netherlands, what I saw was young people alive. They love working for a company that's creating this revolution. And I talked to the young people there, and I talked to the young people in the United States, and it's all the same. Their goal is to electrify the renewable energy age, and they want to work with a company that's leading the way. I like Albert Einstein's quote, "No problem can be solved from the same level of consciousness that created it." We need to learn to see the world anew. And then he said, there's only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle, and the other is as if everything is a miracle. And what happens is we've translated that into this 4D cycle of discovery, dream, design, and destination that can be used in teams, that could be used as a strategic planning model to help a whole company come together for strategic planning. We've used this in mergers between two $4 billion companies, where it starts with the discovery of everything that gives life, all the strengths, all the what we'll call the positive core of that system. That allows us then to dream with our feet on the ground. So here's my definition of positive institutions. Positive institutions are organizations and structured patterns in our culture or society that serve to elevate our highest human strengths, that serve to combine and magnify those human strengths, and refract our highest human strengths outward in world-benefiting ways. Think of a prism and how a prism works. A prism has white light coming through it, and it separates that light and refracts that light. I think that's the kind of institution that we want to begin to understand and to design. This is another organization. This is Fairmont Minerals. They started using appreciative inquiry to become a sustainable company, to find incredible opportunities to do good and do well, but all with a business focus. Let's find new products that are sustainable. Let's find new community relationships. For example, in one of our appreciative inquiry design sessions, they designed a $10 sand water filter to clean water in places where there's no clean water. And now they're working in 44 different countries. What we're seeing in companies that are leading the way in sustainable products, sustainable operations, less waste, better community relations, is we're finding that as the company does good out there, it really brings it to life inside the company. People come empowered. I call it sustainability and super empowerment. There's been a recent research that we know that over 70% of our employees are disengaged in the workplace. Their minds and their hearts aren't in it. But when you introduce doing good and doing well, it becomes an empowerment engine. People with highly empowered and engaged organizations, they're 480% more committed to helping their company succeed. 250% more likely to recommend improvements, and 370% more likely to recommend their company as an employer of choice. If I was starting my career anew and I was a human resource director, I would say this to myself: sustainability might be the greatest HR opportunity of the 21st century. Think about that. You know, what is your vision for what she will see in 2050? I think the next 25, 30 years are going to be tremendously exciting and important. And thank you for your school and all you're doing to create this kind of positive revolution and change. Thank you very much.